So, good morning, listeners. We are the Social Media Experience Group. We are students in the Business School of Lausanne in Switzerland, and today we're doing our first podcast. My name is Isabel Fuch, and I'm from Guatemala. I have recently written some posts in Spanish. Hope you read and comment on them.
Hello readers, my name is Marco. I'm Swiss, originally grew up in Zurich, and I'm focusing mainly on how social media connects with businesses. I hope you read my posts and comment on them.
So my name is Christian, I'm from Germany. I've written also a couple of posts which are maybe thinking a little bit outside of the box and evaluating the non-obvious parts of social media.
Hello everyone, my name is Priscilla and I'm from Peru. And my focus for the blog is mainly on fashion since I've studied fashion in Milan. And I'm very excited to be sharing our thoughts with all the listeners out there.
Our fashionista in the group.
So our idea for this podcast is to have a small discussion round. We have prepared a couple of questions and areas we would like to tap into, and which we think are relevant for businesses today as well as for the future. And feel free to post any comments and thoughts in the comment section then below. So first off, we would like to start with looking into different industries and how they adapted to social media.
Yes, so the question that I thought would be very important to talk about are which are the industries which have most and least adapted to social media, since we all know that social media has really changed the sphere of business. So the industries which have most adapted, I would say, are fast-moving consumer goods, especially the food and beverage. For example, if you're on Facebook, I mean, you get a bunch of advertising for these industries, and they're very active trying to get people on their platforms. And then, of course, I want to talk about fashion because I've studied it before. So in fashion, it's really interesting to see how all the different kinds of fashion are using social media. So from the fast fashion like H&M and all these, all the way up to the luxury brands, they're definitely very active and very innovative in this whole industry. And then for the least adapted industries, well, I have a special case on pharma, since I have some friends who have worked at Roche and Novartis, and I was talking to them. And it's a very complicated industry because of all the secrecy. I don't know if I should call it secrecy or so, but they have they're very discreet, so they can't really make a Facebook page and tell you about all the
side effects, things like that,
yeah, let's say so. And so what are your thoughts, Christian?
So when I was thinking about this topic, I was first of all thinking about B2B organizations. At least from a consumer's point of view, it is difficult to see how businesses try to use social media to interact with other organizations. I'm not an expert in this field, so maybe they have fantastic channels to communicate with other businesses. Mm-hmm. However, from a consumer's point of view, it's a little bit difficult. What I saw, on the other hand, is that the automobile industry is really trying to push the social media platform further. This can be seen especially well with the Facebook page of Audi. Mm-hmm. They post a lot of pictures of their new cars and videos. And on Facebook, as you all know, you have the possibility to comment. And the Audi Facebook page, or the administrators, try to comment on each post and give them details, or try to interact with the users. Mm-hmm. And I think that this is actually a key aspect on which will be rising, or which will be arising much further in the future. However, I also saw a negative aspect to this whole social media thing for the industries, is that not a lot of companies know how to deal with negative comments. I feel like they do not have a clear strategy for that. And a lot of companies are just ignoring what the negative comments, maybe to not make them worse, I guess. But the thing is, they even sometimes neglect constructive criticism because maybe they fear that they somehow push into a sensitive topic. So those are basically my observations.
Yeah,
What I mainly see is that big companies are really strong in social media, but smaller size companies, they're still struggling because it's quite expensive. They need to hire additional people who are looking up for their pages, and this costs a lot of money. So family companies mainly are not so active because there's still the older generation which owns these companies. The younger generation is aware of it, but the older generation not so much. So they're big corporations. They are used to do this, and they hire young people, professionals who are really keen on this. But this medium and small size companies, especially in Switzerland, are not so keen on it, and they don't know how to deal with it because it's still a risk. If something goes up, they don't know how to handle it. And this has to be improved in the future if they want to gain some more market share, because it's a huge opportunity. And if they would understand it, they would figure out it's actually a huge advantage for them in the future. So I'm really hoping that this kind of businesses catch up and give it a go and just try it out, because in the end you just can win.
Yeah, coming back to what you said about the comments, would you guys think having, let's say, bad comments or insulting or, you know, like, there's always people that are posting bad things on the internet. Would you guys consider that a risk on social media platforms, or is it just something you can delete? Because I've seen some very bad. There was this Starbucks person that was posting some things that weren't too good for the company. In the end, people were very surprised about what he had said, and he just deleted his Twitter page. And this solved the problem, but at the same time it didn't, because everybody saw that he was trying to just get rid of his history. So what do you guys really think? Is this a risk, or?
I don't think it's a risk. I think it depends on how companies deal with it. Actually, they should really be open and immediately deal with the problem. When they see a post, they just write something to the post. So what do you mean? How can we improve it? Why do you think like this? And maybe build other people in. Say why you think? Do you think the same? Experience the same like this person? Like really try to find a solution. But if they just wait, the damage gets bigger and bigger, and other people start guessing. And if the company would go in and say something, they can actually say why they're doing it like this. They would be to can actually turn the disadvantage to an advantage. This is what they should try to do. And often they ignore it a little bit. They look what happens. Maybe they just delete the post, but it's not finished. Then people keep on posting, because why is there no reaction? So if the companies react immediately and really try openly with the community, with the people who are active on this blogs or on Facebook, they should really try to solve it with them together, and then they make even maybe the people really happy, and even the people after make promotion for the company itself, because they say, "Whoa, you helped me so much."
Yeah, word of mouth is very important. Yeah,
but it's hard. I mean, if you have 1,000 comments every minute,
and it's expensive really as well.
But you don't have 1,000 comments which are really bad. You have a few which are really bad.
Just making sure, like reading all the comments, it's very time consuming, and you need a whole department pretty much to do it. So,
what I think will arise is some kind of a system which basically filters out any comment which has a unconstructive connotation to it.
That'd be cool.
But how would consumers feel about this?
I mean, if a consumer just insults, or if someone just posts insulting comments, they are not constructive and they just harm the image of the company. And on the other hand, you have negative comments which are constructive. Yeah. So the question is, how can a company find a way to address the constructive criticism without being just loaded with the unconstructive? So maybe some kind of a software or some kind of a filter will just more or less filter out the useless comments, and which only leaves the constructive ones for the company's employees to handle.
Often that also like the loyal people to the brand, they actually help the company to solve out this.
Yes, definitely.
They're posting something. For example, give an example with Ferrari. I hate this car. It's a really crap car. And they say, why are you saying this? And other people, not even the company, replies to it. And other people start and help actually. So there's not even the company's work.
Yeah, that's
so after
true.
They have a conversation, and actually maybe they can turn this person's mind. Or so for the companies is not so much work actually in the end. Of course, with the really thing what happens, which is really bad for the company, they need to turn it down. But it's just a comment which is just useless. Often people who are a fan of this brand, they comment on it, and they will solve actually the problem for the company, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, it's true. The advocates of a brand are quite active when they see that their brand is being damaged by someone. So, yeah, that's actually a very good point.
I hope we can get some of those in our brand.
So I would suggest that we go on to the next topic we thought about,
Definitely.
and it is basically where do we see the line between overusing social media and using just the right amount.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's also a quite difficult one because everyone has different views on this. My point of view is a little bit more conservative, maybe. I have observed, and also studies have observed, that in-the-face advertising is becoming less popular and is only marginally effective. And there are multiple studies which have measured that only half of these into-the-face ads are actually being seen by the consumer.
Yeah.
What we can also see is that more and more add-ons are created for browsers such as AdBlock, because consumers are just trashed, more or less, by so many advertisements by companies, and in a lot of cases they're not even interested about the content. Further on to this point, we can see that high impact ads have increased by 11% from 2013 to 2014. These high impact ads are, for example, banners on websites, and if you scroll down a bit, this banner suddenly turns very large and covers up half the page.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, it's
I
really
hate
annoying.
those. I hate those.
It's
Especially
really
when
annoying.
you're on mobile phone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't even move anymore.
Yeah. So a lot of people even just skip over these high impact ads, and rather few actually click on them. And because this whole topic is getting increasingly annoying for a lot of consumers, a new trend has been arising in the United States called digital detox. Yeah, it's an interesting concept.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's very interesting because people here are trying to disconnect from their devices to experience the world again around them. Because
I just deleted my Facebook app from my phone. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that would be, for example, an example of digital detox. This can also be seen very clearly when you're sitting around in groups and people are just glued to their phones sometimes, which is a bit weird, personally, and sad as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
But how do you solve this problem? What's the solution to it?
Well, as I said, this is a trend arising in the US, and a lot of people they don't want to
Okay.
connect anymore for a while. There are even digital,
Rehab.
digital detox boot camps where people go there for a month.
They put their phones in.
Yeah, they have no connection to some media device. It's very interesting just to think about it.
But it's not just short term. It maybe helps, you don't use your phone maybe for 1 month or something, but after you back to your rhythm, and then you start to use your phone every single day, nearly every minute. So
But it will change how you think about it. Because if you, for example, my phone, I don't have my phone already for 2 weeks now because it broke and I'm too lazy to get a new one. It actually changed how I plan and act through my whole day. I wasn't a big phone user before that already, but it totally changed my way of how I perceive my surroundings. I thought that is very interesting. And another thought on this is that this trend wouldn't be developing if there wouldn't be an issue on how we actually use the media. Now, the challenge I've seen is to advertise just the right amount so that people don't get annoyed and that they still stay interested. What I also seen that pop-up ads are very, very annoying because they pop up, let's say, 3, 4, 5 seconds after you're on the site and started interacting with it. Then slowly this pop-up ad comes up, and when you press the delete or the X button, it slowly vanishes, and it just disturbs the whole flow of the interaction
I
with
agree
the
that it's really
whole
annoying, but in the end, like market research says, if you look at the pop-up app like 7 or 8 times, then first you start to realize actually this is an app and you may be interested before you just ignore it. But if it comes up all the time, then you start to realizing that what is actually a product which may be interesting, you buy it. So there is a sense actually behind it. Of course, it's really annoying for the consumer in the first time, but in the end, maybe he even buys the product. So
there's definitely a chance. However, half of the internet ads are being not seen by the consumer.
Yeah.
There are also a lot of studies which have really got some turmoil in the marketing industry is where some researchers followed the eye movements of the people when they are looking through a website, and they saw that most of the focus of the users is actually on the content, and they just briefly swipe over the banner ads, for example.
Yeah.
This is not for high impact ads, but just for banner ads.
But when it's a pop-up, no, it's like shows movements, no, and you need really to close it with the cross. So
exactly.
So you look at it, no.
Those are annoying.
Yeah, they are exactly.
But you
yeah.
pay attention to them.
That is true, definitely.
But I think the most effective, how are those called? The high intensity.
High.
The ones
Yeah,
that just
high
pop
impact.
up, high impact. The most annoying ones I find are the ones you can't even find where the X is.
Yeah.
So you have to read it all to find it. It's like, no,
Because in the middle somewhere.
continue to the page.
Yeah,
And those,
exactly.
Well, I think maybe they might be effective because you actually have to continue reading it to find the way out. But in a way, it's also annoying. So I don't know if to a customer, someone that's actually interested in your content, to have to go through this. Join our network, sign up to I think it must be very annoying. And then coming to your other point about the detox.
Yeah.
How do you guys think? I mean, yeah, we're saying social media trends are growing. Advertisement is the future of marketing and advertising lies on social media. But now people, I don't want to use my phone anymore. I don't want to. So it's like unbalanced, I would say, in a way. I mean, I think there's a small population that really doesn't want to use their phones anymore. But what if it like starts growing and then social media just...
I think that the whole detox story is not about totally getting rid of it. I think, I think it is changing your awareness. Actually, being aware of the state you are in. Being aware that you are not anymore or mentally where you are at the moment in this area, but you are in a totally different world. You are, let's say, 1,000 kilometers away from where you are, and you don't even realize anymore your surroundings. And I think that this whole digital detox movement is, or the core idea is to change the user's awareness, where they can say, okay, at the moment I am very reliant on the media platform I am using. But a lot of people don't even notice that anymore.
I mean, I think that the thing is that since it's so available, I mean, you can look at Facebook all the time in your phone. And the problem is not Facebook itself, it's how much we look at it. Because you're there and then you realize I'm not even paying attention. You're just scrolling. And like
That's
2 hours
true,
pass by and you're like, oh, I haven't done anything today.
Yeah.
So I think that the main problem is not the actual social media platforms, but the amount and also the times that we use them. And then going back to your initial question, detox. But with this whole advertising, I think that the biggest problem is that it's we have seen how it's changed. So before you had YouTube, I know you have YouTube, but you have to go through that annoying 5-second advert.
Yes.
So since we've seen the change, it's like, hey, why is this happening? You know. But maybe for the next generations who are going to be used to it, it won't impact them so much.
That's true, actually. Because the people who now grow up with YouTube, they don't even know a time where there were no advertisements on YouTube.
So sad for them.
Yeah. Because the new generation is growing up with being being used to it, with ads being trashed onto the users. So we may want to move on to our third idea. And it is basically on how companies actually try to measure the return on investment in terms of social media.
Exactly, and the problem is, what I found out is that 70% of the businesses don't even measure or not even bother to measure the return on investment. So often companies just trust that something happens which is good, so they don't even know if it's really helping them or not. This is quite sad. So my question was, which I talked about, how you can really measure it actually. Is it even possible or is it not possible? And I found some solutions which is definitely possible. The most probably well known is Google Analytics, which is a really useful tool for companies which they can use really easily. How they can find out who is looking at the page, how often they look, when they look, what time, so they can really put the advertisement around these findings. But otherwise than that, there are coming up new startups coming up really, which building like tools, also how to use Facebook, so that you can make the measurement easier. So companies try to help actually other companies to this problem, but as I said, 70% of the companies don't even measure that, so it's really difficult. So Google Analytics is actually what I found is the only thing. Maybe you guys have other ideas how to really measure what kind of return you have on your investment if you're with social media.
Well, it's not hard.
Well, it's a little bit difficult, but one thought I had is that social media can be used as a form of building a brand to get brand recognition. This is maybe especially helpful for organizations which have, I'd say, dry topics such as insurance or financial institutions or whatever. For example, how a health insurance company could use social media is to promote a healthy lifestyle and then connect it to competitions and have this posted on their social media platform, and so that the users just try to interact a bit with the company. Because I highly doubt that users will go on to a health insurance company's Facebook page to inform themselves about the newest deals of the company. They would rather go to the official website and get all the information they need there. But these other channels of social media might be interesting for this part of brand recognition.
Well, I don't know too much about this, but I do know that from my own experience when I opened the Facebook page, and when you pay to get more viewers, and Facebook actually tells you, your progress. It gives you a little chart and it tells you how many you've collected.
Yeah.
So I guess that they're the actual companies who own the social media pages who should develop these systems, because that's what you're using.
Yeah, develop the system is a good point, because if you just look at the likes and the tweets you have, it says actually nothing. It says really nothing. Okay, people like a brand, but do they really buy this product from the brand, or how can you measure?
So you would have to make a connection between the social media page, the online purchasing, a lot of things. Yeah.
So slowly, I think we're heading toward the end of our first podcast. We hope that you enjoyed it and maybe even managed to encourage you to think a little bit more about social media's relevance for businesses. And please feel free to post any thoughts in the comment section below. And we wish you a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.